Okay, now we can actually take something out of here. So let's take a look. Whoa. So this goes out to Torino. Some scrap metal. Wheel loader. So I may take the scrap metal out because that kind of makes more sense here. Backhoe loader. Excavator scrap metal to Firenze. It came out of Livorno, so yeah, we could go to Firenze. Maybe just do sort of like the counterclockwise circuit here. So I may do that one. All the construction equipment that's coming out. Oh, no, that's coming out of the other side, which does us no good. Let's do this one. Let's take this to Firenze here. We'll go ahead and begin that delivery. And that'll take 2. And that'll be 2 out of the 6 we need for east. And what I can do is do the northwestern cities on the west side. Alright, so where is my trailer here? That's it right there. Yep, that's it. Taz, what's up? How's it going, my friend? Thank you for stopping by today. So let's check out the map here. So good. So that'll get this little bit explored. Not that it really matters, but thank you, sir. It's much appreciated. Yep, and then we'll be coming that way. All right, let's go get this. Take out the scrap metal. Oh, crap. I think I still have the no damage mod on here. Which works for me. Yeah, I know. It's, yeah, people always said that. Both my brother and I look a lot like my father. Alright, let's get the scrap metal out of here. Exact replica, yeah. Yeah, yeah. For good or ill, I guess. For ill, the gut, definitely. I've picked that up over a few years, so I definitely have to work on reducing that. Yeah, it's still I'm still at least in I guess the shock phase of it. You know, I'm able to you know, for the most part, as I'm doing my daily stuff, it's not even a forethought in my mind.
Tenersi a destra e poi uscire a destra.
But I get the moments, and then you realize it's like, you know, he's really not here anymore, you know. So you sort of get those, you know, cold water in the face moments. Yeah, well, work-wise, well, you know, for good or ill, you know, I've been lucky enough to be in a job that is considered essential, so I haven't had to worry about, well, both my wife and I, although her store closed down, her company closed down nationwide, And they actually furloughed a lot of people after I think 3 weeks, when they realized this is going to go on a lot longer than anyone anticipated. But she was fortunate enough that she was kept on. So we've both been working. So, you know, work-wise, it's been sort of business as usual. You know, I've been fortunate enough to get back to a full 40 hours a week, which helps too. But yeah, so at least that's been one thing we haven't had to worry about too much. Oh yeah, your boss that passed away, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it ever goes away. You know, it's one of those things. It's weird because you don't know how to get used to him not being around. It's not like, you know, and you know, we saw him on a regular basis because they'd always be over, you know, a couple of days a week for, you know, to watch Abby and get Abby to school and that kind of stuff. But it's, you know, it's one of those things. I kind of liken it to when I was watching the documentary on the Beatles back in '94. Precious, you always lose some. Oh yeah, that part of it never goes away. You know, I still have moments where, you know, I definitely shed some tears. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, you know, I had a dream / sort of nightmare, and I dreamed about, you know, my father was in my dream, and you know, we were over at my parents' house, and I was talking to my mom about something in the dream, and then my dad walks in, and it was a younger version of my dad, although it was strange that, you know, he had, I would say it was back when he was like 30 or 40 age-wise, and he had dark hair. You know, he had black hair before it turned gray like mine. But he walked in. It was a younger version of him with the dark hair. But it was weird. He still had the hairline of his current, receded hairline, that kind of stuff. So that was weird. But, you know, obviously in the dream, it's not weird in the dream. It's just normal in the dream. But when he walked in, you know, I walked up to him and told him, you know, I love you, Dad. And then that part of the dream, from that point, that part of the dream immediately stopped. And then it got into the weird phase, to where, you know, it's one of those dreams where you think you're awake but you're not. So it was one of those things where, you know, I was dreaming, I was in my own bed, just like, and I had woken up in the middle of the night. It's like that part of the dream acted like it woke me up, but I was really still asleep and still dreaming. So I was there lying in bed, and then some like, I almost want to say it's ball lightning starts flying around the room, and I could hear it. You know, you could hear the crackling and stuff. And so you get this white, you know, you get this white fear that washed over me. So that's where the nightmare part of the dream comes up, because I've always had occasional what they're called night terrors. And I always have the feeling that there's something in the room. There's something trying to get me. So you know, I'm trying to get away. So like in real life, my body is shivering, sweating, my legs are kicking out, and that generally wakes my wife up, and then she wakes me up from the night terror. So that's sort of what this had changed into. because I distinctly remember saying "mommy, mommy, mommy,"
Tenersi a destra
crying out
e
for
poi uscire a destra.
crying out for my mom in that part of the dream, because whatever this was, I felt like it was trying to get me.
Uscire a destra.
And then that was the point to where my wife woke me up, and it finally woke me up, and I just completely broke down at that point, because it was, and she asked, what's wrong, and I told her, it's like I had a dream about my dad, so that was my most recent breakdown moment. But yeah, it's very, it's very strange, because you always think of your parents always being there. That's the way I describe it. It's like they're always there. Everybody dies at some point in time, but you're never ready. I don't think, no matter how it happens, you're ever ready for it, especially when it's a family member, and especially a parent. So I think that's one of the jarring things. It's like you always think of your parents always being there whenever you need them. So you almost like take them for granted. Now all of a sudden my dad's not there. So it's a very strange feeling. I don't know. I don't think I necessarily know how to cope with that quite yet. God damn it! Where am I? Is this 80? Yeah. All right, I'm going to drop down to 75 here, because this is just annoying. There we go. But I like it. I kind of hello, Verscret. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's always too soon. No matter how old they are, it's always too soon. But I like the thing that sticks out in my head is the Beatles documentary from '94, when they got back into the studio to record the two new songs as Beatles songs, the two songs that John Lennon was working on before he had died, but never really officially released his songs when they were doing those songs, and the three remaining Beatles at the time were talking about how that was like to record the song, and oh Jesus, and hear John's voice in the studio, and then for them to come in and do their parts of the song. What the hell is going on here? Oop, all right. And so I think it was Paul who had said, all right, where am I at here? Genova. Here is the map. Here's how the map looks right now, Verscret. So this section here is new. This is the East Depot right here. And then over here, I haven't been to this one yet, is the West Depot here in Genoa. So it is there. So this is the part here that is, if I recall correctly, this is where the road eventually went, because this was the exit here. I noticed coming up that this exit now is blocked off. And if I recall correctly, this section was inaccessible. This was the X's, where they have the flashing X's up across the road. So you actually had to exit to get over to here before they updated the map. But you'll see a lot of construction here. So we're going to, I'm probably going to be heading back to east from Firenze. So I'll show you. We'll take an exterior view. Well, actually, I could fly over there anyway too. In fact, I do want to fly over there. So we'll fly over there once I park this trailer, and we'll take a look at how things look. But when you drop off your load, you actually get a nice little cinematic of them rebuilding the bridge, which is nice. So we'll take a flyover when I drop this off, and then what we'll do, we'll take another job here to the East Depot. And then what I'll do is I'll take a job from the East Depot, probably to, well, if there's available, either to Torino or Milano here. That way I can take a job from there to the West Depot and take a look at, take a driving look at that. But yeah, as I was saying, it's I think it was Paul at who, come on, let's go, who had said that, it was the way when they were recording the songs, the way they thought about it and went about it was that John had just stepped out of the studio to go grab some lunch or to go grab some tea. So, they never really thought of him as not being there. He was there, but he had just stepped out of the studio to go do something. So that's I think that's sort of where I'm at with my father. It's just like, my mother's been living with us ever since she got out of the hospital in the middle of April. So almost 2 months now. I hope this is the telepath side, yes. So it's like, he's not here, but it's because he's out doing something else, So I think it's probably, always going to be one of those deals that even when we go over to the house, Dad's just out running errands or something, I think that's always going to sort of be in the back of the head.
Finirsi a destra e poi uscire a destra.
Oh, I still have that mirror up. I think I may have to leave that mirror up here.
Uscire a destra.
But it's tough. Yeah, we and it's like I said in the Discord, we first worked weeks after my boss had in mind that he was getting material arrival. Oh shit! That's what I get for trying to read chat. Oopsie. Yep, I definitely have the no damage mod still installed. Thank God for that. Yeah, see, it's very strange. Yeah, it's just freaking. I'm going here. Yeah, like I said, you get used to the feeling that they're always there. They're always going to be around. They're just a phone call away, or you're going to see them on such and such a day because they have to take Abby to school, that type of thing. So now it's going to be, it's just my mom coming over. Dad's home doing something on the house, that type of thing. But, it's like I said in the Discord, it's just such...
Voltare a sinistra.
It is just, it's so surreal here. In the New York area. Of course, we've been hit hard in the Philly area too, because we're sort of that part of the New York corridor. So things have really been bad in this area.
Tenirsi a destra.
A lot worse than it has been in many other parts of the country, save I think California. So like other people from other parts of the country really have no idea how bad this really got and really still is. Like I said in the Discord, it's like my wife had talked to the owner of the funeral home, and the stuff that they have to deal with is just really overwhelming for them. Never mind.
Abbiamo finito.
They've been healthy. They haven't had any because it's been a family-owned business for like 110 years. And at least for them, family-wise, they haven't had anybody sick or anything like that. But just having to deal with the aftermath of families who have lost somebody, no problem, Taz. Of somebody who has lost one or more family members. There have been families who have lost 2 or 3 family members to this disease. And it's just been absolutely it's like combat, you know. It's like, you know, the president and a lot of the nurses and doctors and stuff have been referring to this as sort of like combat. And really, I mean, you know, talking to the people at funeral home, you know, they have to go through that. They have to deal with this constantly themselves, and they're just so overwhelmed with the amount of death. You know, you never. At least I personally have not yet heard anything, you know, like that mentioned on the news and stuff like that. It's always, you know, what the doctors, the nurses are going through, the families are going through, but you know, the people who run the funeral homes and the crematoriums, they're going through the exact same thing that the doctors and nurses are, because they're seeing this death and having to confront it on a constant basis as well. So it's extremely tough on them as well. You know, they don't get much of a break either. Oh, crap, I am so off on this. Jesus. Alright, let me do it this way. I hear a train. Where's the train? There's the train. So it's really surreal here. And that's what a lot of people don't necessarily understand across the country, are screaming for us to reopen businesses and stuff. It's like, you have no idea how bad this is right now, and still is. You know, almost 3 months after it really blew up here in the United States. It's like, even, you know, personally for me, I finally have been able to get to the doctor, to an ear specialist, to take a look at my ear from recovering from an ear infection 3 months ago. And so it's just absolutely crazy. On the way to the construction, you pass a funeral home. They have glass door and similar sized window next to it. They hang up all the obituaries. Usually only a few of them on the door. Both the door and window are full. It is absolutely. And it's always one of those things where you think it's never going to happen to you or your family, because you think you're doing the right thing, and then it does anyway. And so that's the tough part of it too, you know. But yeah, it's just, people just really have no idea how bad it is, unless you're in one of those areas that have just been decimated by this thing. There we go. All right, let's drop this. So yeah, it's tough all around, because we ended up picking up his ashes last week, as a matter of fact, last Thursday. All right, so where are we at here? Good. We're all good. Excellent. And it's only because it took that long. You know, the funeral home wasn't able to even pick him up from the hospital until almost a month. I think it was. See, we picked him up last week, picked up his ashes last week, which was. Come here, calendar. Which was. Oh, I gotta get back into May here. Right, the 28th. And the funeral home had just gotten him. When were they able to pick him up? Was it the. I think they were able to pick him up on the 16th. It was a Saturday. I know they picked him up. Yeah, so I think it was Saturday. The 16th they picked him up, which was 3 weeks after he had passed away. And so it took them 3 weeks to finally be able to get him. And then it took another... When did they do it? I think they did I looked at the certificate, but I don't remember the exact date they performed the cremation. I think that was that the 24th, 25th, 26th, somewhere around there. But even then, after they picked him up, it was about another week and a half before the crematorium was able to cremate him. And that's just, you think it's like, how is that even possible? That's how bad it is. That's how much death we have had in this area from this disease. It's just, it's mind-numbing, really. It's mind-numbing how bad things really are. And then you got people who think it's, you see these people who tweet out, oh, this is overblown, this is fake, this and that. It's like, you're an idiot. You have no idea how bad this really is. It's just a shame. It's just a shame at the end of the day. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just something we got to try to get through. And the sad part is, we've been given so many warnings as a world, as a race, as a human race. Over the last 2 decades, we've been given so many warnings. About this, Ebola, the swine flu, the avian flu, are the 3 big ones that I remember over the last 20 years. And I know there were at least 2 or 3 more in that time. And still, we never really we haven't been paying attention as a human race, and that goes to West. So we're gonna wait. So this is really okay. So we're gonna take a wheel loader here to East, and then, like I said, from East we'll see about going to Milano or Torino here, and then. You know what? Oh, frick. You know what I should have done? Is I was going to do a flyover anyway. Let me do this. That way I don't have to drive across Firenze here to this place.
È ora di andare.
Yeah. Let me do this. Cancel this job. So where is this here? From Sal. All right. I want to save some time here. But I did want to fly over this area here before it gets too dark. All right, let's throw the map on here. Let's go to Genoa. Really? Geneva? No, Genova. There we go. All right, let's see. CCC. Where we're going in here. Okay, I think this is the east here. Is this the east? Yes, okay, here's the east. So here's the East Depot. Of course, there's the tunnel. So not much over there, eh? The tunnel to nowhere. The construction site. So here is, of course, that's blocked off. See, this used to be the exit. This is blocked off now. So you can see some more construction over here. And here's the actual bridge here, or where the bridge used to be. Okay, so here we go. Now we're flying over to the west end. So there's the tunnel. Fly through the tunnel? Yeah, we can still fly through the tunnel. It's just blocked off here, and here's the west end of it. So we pop over here. So this tunnel leads over to where the bridge used to be. So we can see all the construction going on here. take a look. So I'm trying to remember now. Like I said, this used to be the exit. We used to be able to go that way. I think this was the part that used to be blocked off, which kind of makes sense if this tunnel actually goes nowhere. Yeah, see, it just goes into the mountain. So this tunnel is really just a spawn point for the AI traffic. So we never used to be able to get up in this area. So you used to have to, if I recall correctly, you used to have to take the exit here. You weren't able to get up in this area, if I'm remembering correctly. But that's where we're at there. All right, so let's head over to the other side of Firenze here. I don't think we're coming out of IKEA. So let me pop in over here. So hopefully we'll be, so I can take a look at the map to see where I actually want to go here. But yeah, I consider this a now I'm trying to think where did it have me picking this job up front? Let's see. This is part of Livorno here. This is where we had to get to Livorno. So Firenze actually isn't that bad. Looked like it was. Yeah, CDE squirrel. Look at that. CDESRL. Imagine that's where it's going to be coming out of. Okay. So let's see what job we got here. This coronavirus is probably our big warning, our final warning as a human race, that we had better figure something out as a world. As a population of Earth, because the next one, and there's going to be a next one. There absolutely is no doubt in my mind there's going to be. See, that's coming out of Livorno. Yeah, see, that's coming out of Livorno. That's not coming out of Firenze. That's why. That's why. So this excavator is coming out. See, but it's not going to where we need to go. So there's actually nothing coming out of Firenze going to where I need to go. Oh wait, maybe here we go, gravel. See, but I don't want to take gravel to there. Oh, all right. But I do want to come out I'd rather come out of Firenze. So we already came out of Livorno, so we'll take gravel again. All right, that's what we'll do. That's what threw me off. That was that job I abandoned was actually coming out of Livorno. I didn't notice that. So yeah, I can almost guarantee we've got about another, if we're lucky, we have another 10 years here as a human race before something really nasty hits, something like Ebola that is as contagious as coronavirus here. Because I told my wife the other day, it's like, I forget what we were talking about. Yeah, we were talking about businesses reopening and the protests and how that's going to end up spreading the disease with all the protesters we have here in the United States now, which is on top of what we have to deal with in the Philadelphia area to begin with the coronavirus. Now we have to deal with all the rioting and the looting and the curfews and the lockdowns. It's just ridiculous.
Prepararsi a voltare a destra.
I turned to my wife and I told her this is exactly how the human race is going to get wiped out. It's not going to be nuclear warfare. It's not going to be a giant space rock slamming into the planet. It's going to be an infectious disease that wipes out the human population. And I can almost guarantee you, we're going to see this disease hit within the next decade.
Voltare a sinistra.
Whether it's something that's released by accident or is something that is released deliberately by a first or second world power here, like China or North Korea. Because I would be willing to bet
Tenersi a destra.
that North Korea is looking at
Alla
what's happening
rotatoria,
here,
prendere la prima uscita.
and Kim Jong-un is thinking to himself, you know, we don't need to be a nuclear
Uscire
power.
adesso.
I could just see him calling in his scientists and saying, get to work on something here. So yeah, we as a world race had better really
Fine del viaggio.
start getting ourselves prepared for the next decade, because it's coming. But yeah, like I said, I told my wife, this is how we get wiped out as a human race. It's gonna be an infectious disease that kills us all. Not unlike that we have done a couple of times over in the game Plague Incorporated Evolved. That I've done a handful of times here over the last couple of months.
Andiamo.
But yeah, that's exactly how it's going to happen. But yeah. Anyway,
Prepararsi a voltare
why
a
we're
destra.
still here, let's think happier thoughts, right?
Voltare a destra.
Like how we're only a matter of, I think, a week or two away from the release of Idaho for American Truck Simulator.
Alla rotatoria, prendere la seconda uscita.
I have a feeling. There's no date range we've been given for this event. See, stupid AI here. It knows I have to come. See, that's very, very odd. And then we'll have AI here that keeps going and slams into me.
Uscire adesso.
But
Voltare a sinistra.
yeah, I have a feeling that depending on how long they've planned for this event, I mean, I imagine it's going to take longer than a week. Well, I imagine it'll take about a week for us to get the 500,000 jobs to each of these depots.
Prepararsi a voltare a destra.
But I imagine we'll have about 10 days, maybe 2 weeks for this
Voltare a
event.
sinistra.
I have a feeling that if we don't see Idaho next week, we'll see it immediately after the event's over.
Voltare a
So
sinistra.
we'll get to be driving a new state in American Truck Simulator, I imagine, in a couple of weeks here. The only thing I'm curious about is Iberia. Like I said, it's been about what, I think about 8 months now since we've had the Black Sea. I've got to go look it up now when Black Sea officially released, because I remember I was trying to get 100% map completion before it released. And I actually didn't get it till 2 weeks after it released. So that was, what was that, October, November we got the Black Sea expansion here. So it's been a good 8 months right now since our last map expansion here for ETS.
Alla rotatoria, prendere la prima uscita.
The first exit, and there isn't really only one exit here. So I'm sort of guessing that Iberia
Uscire
might be
adesso.
coming. I gotta go this way. It's this GPS, the way the GPS is looking is kind of odd here. It's throwing me off. I'm sure guessing that we see Iberia in August. Because I don't know if they have a time frame or if they're trying to do 2 map expansions for ETS a year. But we should have already had one. We should have had one in March or April. And then that would set us up good for the next one for September or October again. So I would find it very odd if we only have one map extension for ETS here this year, which would be Iberia. But it's shaping up to be that way, unless they plan on releasing Iberia pretty close to the time they release Idaho, which I would find very strange. So I personally, if I was doing it, I'd want to give at least a couple of months for people to get into Idaho, get the DLC and play around in Idaho for a couple of months before throwing something new, before throwing a new map expansion for the games into the mix. Well, right now, Iberia is the only map expansion that we know is coming for. What's the speed limit? 80. So I'm going a little fast here. I better slow things down. Whereas we already know Colorado is going to be the next map expansion after Idaho, which I'm excited about because Colorado, I've been to New Mexico, I've been to Arizona. So I'm a little familiar with some of the things there. But if Colorado I know a little bit better. CSR announced that this virus slowed down production since everyone needed to work from home. Yeah, I imagine it would. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. That probably the original plan was to have Iberia, because if you look at the release dates for the states, early June seems to be the target for the first half of the year. So that's why I figure we're getting Idaho fairly shortly, because they've already gotten the Steam achievements added for the expansion. So the Steam achievements are there, and so they usually do that a couple of weeks before the DLC is released. That usually happens. So that I noticed the achievements a couple of weeks ago. So I imagine we're getting Idaho within the next couple of weeks. They're teasing us a lot with Idaho. Can't be long. Yeah, it should be right around this time. I imagine if it wasn't for the virus, we probably would have gotten Idaho this week. Which is why I'm kind of thinking why they decided to do the truck at home event and this event, to give us a little bit, something new to do in the intervening weeks. Before Idaho's released. Now I'm kind of thinking that the original plan was to do, like I said, I got to look up the release dates for the ETS expansions, because they always seem to try to hit certain target date areas. So we could sort of guesstimate when Iberia probably would have been or should have been released. And I'm thinking it would have been March or April. Because it seems they want to try to do, 6 month gaps here for each of the games, which kind of makes sense. So with and I can't imagine them wanting to do both Idaho and Iberia sort of right on top of each other. Not planned. Yeah, 137 took longer to complete. Right. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, see, it's sort of pushing back everything. Yeah. So yeah. Definitely Truck at Home wasn't planned. Like, well, obviously, it was sort of one of those last minute things. It's stuff to do is the interim. Oh my God! Excuse me. Yeah. Well, they did say that when they started the event that it just wasn't. They didn't know what they were going to do yet. So, because they wanted to get 137 out the door, then they'd figure out sort of what they would, what the award would be. And no new trailers, right? Well, you don't necessarily need specialized trailers for. Didn't need specialized trailers for Truck at Home or even this event. You don't necessarily need specific trailers, say like the truck racing trailers that we had and that kind of stuff, because it's sort of trailers that are already in the game that haul a specific resource, and the resources that we're hauling sort of make sense for this. And for Truck at Home, it's just like, well, just really haul anything, it doesn't matter. Although, if you watch the YouTube videos, like what I did was just haul the medical equipment, stuff that sort of makes sense. Food supplies and medical equipment were the biggies that I tried hauling, because that sort of fell along the lines of what we would need to have hauled and really did need to have hauled in real life, was medical supplies and food stuff and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think I might take a quick gander at Wikipedia and see the releases. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, it's I know you can actually mod the trailers in. You can I'm sure there's a couple of Steam mods out there. I haven't really looked. But I think there's Steam mods out there that actually unlock the trailers permanently. Because they did say you could do that. They did say it was fine to mod the trailers back into the game after the event was over. But I'm kind of like you to where for certain events it just makes sense to keep the trailers for that specific event. Now for things like, say, the Goodyear trailers, I could see that making them a permanent addition to the game outside of the event, because that is something that you could typically see at any time of year. They're a brand. They haul like a Target trailer or a Walmart trailer. Yeah, you're always going to see them on the road. A Goodyear trailer, sort of the same way. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I tend to try to avoid mods if at all possible as well. I'm guessing yep, I did it again. Yeah. Somebody who has so many mods in Farm Sim 19 that I can't even load the map with the mods. Oh, which reminds me, you know what? I never had the chance to try doing it locally. The map, the save game you gave me, because it was literally right after I downloaded your save game that my parents got sick. So I have to get because I put it into the folder. I got it into the folder. I literally have not loaded up Farm Sim 19 since the last time we played it. So I have to test to see if I can get the save game and map loaded and take a look at it. But yeah, I try to avoid mods for any game unless it's absolutely necessary to get them to function correctly, or it's something specific I need to do something in the game. Like here, I've added the no damage mods to the game for when I'm doing specific things. And for those times where I'm dead dog tired, but I want to get something done, and I'm literally falling asleep at the mouse wheel. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Oh, it got corrupted, did it? Started a new save. Yeah, see, I have to try to take a look at it anyway. But yeah, here we are in the Eastern Depot again with our gravel fill here. Just drop this.
Mettiamoci al lavoro.
But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Like I've used the Frosty mod again, primarily just for ambience when I'm doing streams during the winter and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I did before the VNL was official released in ATS. I tried out the Aerodeath mod, so I tried those. But like I said, I tried to avoid using too many mods just because it's so much of a hassle to deal with. Every game update will break the mods, and so it's just like, yeah, it is too much of a hassle.